What's up, guys? So you guys know how I'm always preaching to you about training, practice, and then train some more, then practice some more. So I just finished wrapping up a full, and I mean very full, day of training with my friend Ryan. Ryan is head of Alert Plan Training Systems. He's a somewhat new instructor, kind of getting his start. And I'll just go ahead and give you the bottom line up front. This is somebody you want to train with. I'm going to be doing it a lot more personally, and I wanted to kind of give him a chance to kind of tell you guys a little bit about your business and what the deal is with Alert Plan.
Thanks, John. Hey, just to give you guys an idea, what my company focuses on, Alert Plan Training Systems, is training people to work with their neighbors, their friends, and their family members in order to protect themselves from lethal threats in a world that's often lawless in the way we're dealt with by those around us. We focus on time-honored tactics and TTPs that have worked since time immemorial, the earliest times in our own history, in our own country, and are still just as applicable today. We focus on training young, old, people of all ability levels, men and women. This really is for everybody. So I'd love to have you out to come train with me.
What's a little bit about your background as far as what you've done and what you kind of bring to the table with experience?
Right. So a lot of what I bring to the table here originates within military service, particularly in long-range reconnaissance surveillance units, and we focused a lot on small amounts of people moving together and working together in the field, and that's what I'm bringing to this now with my company.
Exact same stuff you hear me guys talking about all the time. You need to know how to work as a small team with no resupply and limited resources, because that's what we're going to have to do. So anyway, not going to take up a lot of time with it. I got a bunch of stuff that you're about to see on the rest of the video, but I just wanted to give Ryan a chance up front to kind of talk about the company, and let's get it out there. And trust me when I say this is somebody you want to add to your list of the other instructors that I talk about all the time, and contact him and get him out there. I'll put his contact info and website info down in the description box, so check it out, guys, and let's transition. You'll see a little bit of what we did today. Today's video is brought to you by Body Armor, Oral Rehydration, and Ibuprofen. And just in case you're wondering, yes, I have coffee. Because there's always coffee. Grab you a cup of that, guys. Gonna be here a minute because this isn't gonna be a real long one, but it ain't gonna be short either, because I got something good to talk to you about, and when there's something good to talk about, sometimes it's worth it to take a little while to talk about it. So yesterday, I'm not sure when you're going to be watching this, but it's yesterday for me, I had the distinct pleasure of taking a class with Ryan Tibbin of Alert Plan Training Systems. Ryan come down and kind of did a private class for us, and kind of combined and condensed his rural defensive patrolling class. So we did a one-day thing instead of its usual two-day thing, but we crammed a lot of stuff in from like sun up to sundown. It was non-stop all day long. So Ryan is a somewhat new face on the instructor scene, and he and I have been talking for a while, and I wanted to get him down here and check out what he had to offer. You guys know I'm big in telling you all the time, you got to get good training from good instructors. Ryan has got a really good background. I'll just go ahead and tell you the bottom line up front. I love the class. I love what he's teaching. I really appreciate and love his teaching style. So just getting it out of the way up front, as far as I'm concerned, you can go ahead and right there and add him onto the list of all the other instructors that y'all have heard me talk about in the past that I think are doing good, relevant training, especially I hate to use the same cliche things that everybody uses all the time, but it's small unit tactics is what it is. But he orients everything for the armed prepared citizen. It's not just a carbon copy of military doctrine. A lot of it's based very closely on that, but there's little things that are tweaked and changed for the armed citizen, that you're not just blindly following military doctrine. Oddly enough, just like the other instructors that I recommend, like J.C. Dodge at Mason-Dixon, my very good friend NC Scout at Brushbeater Tactical, and a number of others. So I think Ryan is a really good new up-and-coming instructor face on the instruction scene. I highly encourage you guys to check out his website. I will have a link in the description box down below. It's got my seal of approval, and I really look forward to doing more with him in the future. He's got a number of different classes that he offers, including multiple different rural defensive patrolling classes, different levels, like a basic and advanced, a nighttime one, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of good stuff there. You really, really owe it to yourself, if you're serious about this, of getting that kind of training and getting it from him and others, right? Broaden your horizon and then mix everything that you learn and make it your own. Now, some of you may be asking, well, why should I take training like that if, it's just me? I don't have a group of family or friends that I can, rely on or count on. Well, that's a good question. I would say you still should get that kind of training and learn it, because you never know when you might be thrown into a situation where you do have people with you. And if you've got that training already, it will better enable you to at least somewhat kind of ad hoc throw things together. And it ain't going to make you a, high-speed, low-drag, super snooping team, but you'll be better off than if you didn't have that training and knowledge, right? It's never a bad thing to have training and knowledge that you don't ever have to use. It does kind of suck when you get put in situations where you need training and knowledge that you never bothered to get around to getting. Again, falls under the better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it motif. So, like I said, this was a condensed version. We busted our butts all day long. It was stupid hot, stupid humid. I mean, the heat index was well over 100. I can't speak for anybody else, but I know I feel like I sweated out about 5 pounds of water. And then, of course, we had copious amounts of winged, blood-sucking insects that saw lovely buffet lines and tended to try to laugh at the DEET that you sprayed on you. So that just made life even more fun. But when you're hot, exhausted, tired, ate up, just dragging it, what do? You embrace the suck and you drive on. That's what it's all about. Hence why today is more oral rehydration to help with the dehydration. Now, I didn't get dehydrated, but sweated a lot out trying to put a lot back in. And for people like me, lots of ibuprofen, because things are screaming at me today that don't like me doing what all we did yesterday. So I'm going to keep sipping on that. And no, Body Armor didn't give me this. I bought it at the store. I just happen to like them because Gatorade sucks. These rule. There's that. If Body Armor wants to send me a case of them, I will be tickled pink. If they don't, I'm going to keep buying them because they're good. All right. Let me go over a couple things. So the class itself starts out with a lot of classroom time. Okay, this isn't a you show up and you just start blasting away class. A lot of classroom time, a lot of book time, a lot of whiteboard time. It's good time. It's a chance for you to learn, chance for you to take notes that you can go home and study and then reapply yourself. Ryan has a very good, what's the word I'm looking for? His method of teaching is very good. It's very relatable. He transfers the information to you in a very easy to understand method. loves it. It's a class participation thing, right? He's asking you questions and trying to get you to throw out, your thoughts and opinions to get your brain working on what he's trying to show you. I love that participation aspect. I have been to classes before where the class was the instructor speaking and you were expected just to sit there and be quiet. That's not how this is. He wants you to ask questions, wants you to participate, etc. So it's a really good way of teaching this stuff, in my opinion.
We know he's responsible for home security. So from 10 o'clock to 1 or 2 o'clock, it depends. I make my clock big just in reference for people that are used to clock directions. I refer to everything in relation to information with clock directions. The 12 o'clock is always a direction, and that keeps everyone on the same page. Some of you guys are already familiar with that. You're familiar with that as well. You're articulated. So I put up different classes that aren't so that they see it. Okay. My next thing, I'm going to be the team leader. He's responsible for where locking from that 1 o'clock in this position to leave it at 3 o'clock. And then we alternate side to side. Now I've got my DM responsibilities of locking up here, and then next to 11, and coming out here to that line. While my RTO then is air locking, it just keeps going down with my rear security guy, being in this case my assistant team, whoever it is you have rear security now. Rear security, I know he walks backwards. Try that. In the woods, it's not fun.
It ain't gonna happen very far.
But he needs to be looking over his shoulder. And while I'm talking about looking, although people have primary, secondary, and they're responsible for which prevents us from having everybody just turn and focus fires on one thing while leaving us open in another direction. That's the primary reason. Although everyone's responsible for a sector, my little man, if I'm the and I'm up front patrolling, I know I'm responsible for 10 to 2. And the general idea for that is about 45 off my left and right shoulder. Right? This is just a good reference point. So I know I'm responsible for this. I'm scanning through it as I'm moving. But every so often, not only is my head going to swivel this way, to go with the phrase, keep your head on swivel, right? I'm also on something. I'm like, see what's going on. Because it's not only me. It's me taking a brief look back. I'm still responsible for security here. I'm still watching and focusing on that. But what I'm also doing is maintain situation awareness.
So from after the classroom time, we moved on, starting with some real basic stuff that you just run dry. Excuse me, I apologize for all the sinus stuff going on, guys, but the allergies are nuts today. Un momento, por favor. That's better. And we got to balance the caffeine with the rehydration and all, right? So after your classroom time, you start getting into some simple dry drills that start progressing from there. Then you start getting out and doing some dry movement drills, so on and so forth, throughout the day. Now again, this was a condensed 2-day class into a long 1 day, so we were really cramming stuff in there nonstop. What we progressed to then later in the afternoon was a couple of actual scenarios, and in all the scenarios it was a way of doing force on force in that we were using blanks, so there weren't projectiles flying or anything. Quite honestly, the terrain and the distances and stuff that we were working at, any kind of projectile stuff really kind of sucks. So blanks is the best way to do it, I think, and it works. You're getting the same feel for what's going on. And here's where I thought Ryan really shined too. So like the first scenario we come up with, that he come up with rather, was that we were on our property. We had been in contact with surrounding nearby neighbors. There had been somebody going around and had been stealing or attempting to steal animals, livestock, cows, pigs, chickens, rabbits, all that kind of stuff. And they were armed and had shown a propensity towards violence when confronted. We sent out a 3-man patrol to check some of our property and see if there was anybody kind of creeping in to move towards our livestock, and we come under contact. So as you can see in the video clip you're about to watch, that's what the situation was. We come under contact. Our SOP was we come under contact with an unknown enemy. We're going to break contact and try to fall back, get out of the area, right? I apologize for the distance of the camera angle to keep it somewhat realistic. Nobody was told, the OPFOR wasn't told exactly where we were going to be, and we weren't told where the OPFOR was going to be, and we weren't told where everything was going to take place. We were just given a general area. We start our patrol moving from here, moving that direction, and that was it. The OPFOR knew we'd show up somewhere, and then it kind of went from there. So I didn't have anybody extra to run the camera, so the camera just kind of had to sit, and I kind of had to hope we were in the shot. Fortunately, on this first one, I got a good bit of it. We're a little far off, but you can, kind of get the general gist of what was happening if you look real hard. You can hear what was going on, and again, it was, we take contact. We don't know who or what, how many there is. We start falling back until we can, get out of the area and then get help. So let me go ahead and show you that clip, and you can watch this one. All right, so after we did that one, we got coffee. No, we didn't get coffee. We got more water and hydration. I'm gonna get more coffee now. So after that one, we gathered together. We did a debrief. We talked about what our team was doing, what our thought process was. What we were going through, what we did when we come under contact. And then we kind of war gamed it. What could we have done differently? What we could have done better, etc. Then we got it from the Op4 side. What did they see? What did they do? What were they trying to accomplish whenever they did engage us, etc. So that's a really good way of breaking it down and getting to see it from both sides. So then we did another scenario after we reloaded and rehydrated and all that good stuff. The second one, now this one's going to be a bit longer. This was a bit longer and more intensive scenario. The situation here was we're on our property and some of our group members had went to a specific part of the property in a couple of vehicles to do something, get something, didn't really matter what. And they had missed a couple of check-ins on the radio. We had no contact with them. So we sent a patrol out to go check on their last known location where we knew they were going to on the property and try to see what was going on with them. So as the patrol got there, we had a specific objective point that we were trying to get to that we had to search. The problem was whenever we got to the edge of the wood line, we had a fairly open area that there was no way to get to our objective spot without crossing part of this open area. So this one took a little longer because what we did as a team is once we got close to the wood line, we stopped and using magnified optics, we're glassing the area real hard, trying to look for the Op4, trying to look for any threats, because we weren't told whether there would actually be Op4 to engage us or not. It was an unknown situation. So we're looking and looking and looking, taking our time. Again, this is stuff that you don't rush at. Then we started moving out a little bit, and then we stopped where we got a little bit more open, a little better view, started glassing the area again. Still didn't see anything, so we're still moving on to our objective. And as we're crossing the open area, and even using blanks, guys, I'm telling you, when you come out of concealment and out of cover in an open area, if you're taking the training seriously, your pucker factor goes up because you just feel completely exposed and naked when you're in open areas, as you should be. And about halfway through was when I started getting my spider sense tingling that something's watching me. So unfortunately, we had started to move just out of view of in frame of what the camera was recording. But I'll just kind of clue you in. There was a tree stand, camouflage tree stand on the property. It was elevated, and when I looked up at it, I saw a shine and a glint coming out of it that looked exactly like sunlight reflecting off of an optic. So I immediately stopped and went down, stopped the patrol. I'm glassing it real hard trying to see. I couldn't see. One of the other guys had an optic with more magnification on his gun, so team leader brought him up to let him glass it real good. Didn't see it, or didn't see anything. We couldn't figure out what it was, so we moved on. And as we were moving on, before we got to where we were supposed to be at, all of a sudden the Op4 engaged us. However, the direction we were moving, the Op4 was actually way over to our left. So we're off camera. As you're looking at the camera watching, the Op4 is going to be to your right looking at the camera, and we're going to be to the left. But it was to our left that fire was coming in. We couldn't see where the Op4 was at. We just knew there were shots going off, and we reacted accordingly. Started falling back. We popped smoke to give us a little bit better concealment. You can see a little bit of the smoke at the tail end there kind of drifting by. Unfortunately, most of that was even out of the shot of the camera, so I apologize for all that. We just didn't have enough extra personnel at that point in the day for me to have somebody to be on the camera itself. Now in the previous clip and in this next clip you're going to see, you will see the instructor and a photographer that was there taking pictures. The instructor and photographer are not part of the team. They're not part of the OPFOR, so they're not trying to be, stealthy or anything like that. They're observing and kind of controlling everything and taking pictures and that sort of thing. So just pretend like they're not there whenever you're watching it. So let's go ahead and move into that clip, and I'll let you see that one. Now that you watched that one, let me go ahead and close this out. This is good training, guys. I had, in my head, I had wanted to get a lot more video done than what I did. However, whenever I go to training, I'm a student first. That's my number one focus and goal, is focusing on what the instructor is trying to teach, because he's giving me his time to teach. I'm going to give him my time to learn. If I get time to, get the camera going and do something, I do. If I don't, I don't. I would love to get more footage when I do things like this, but until I can get a spare cameraman, it is what it is. So, excellent training. I thoroughly loved it. The ibuprofen and dehydration is absolutely worth it. It sucks, but guys, the only way to do this is to do it when it sucks. If you haven't, I'm telling you, it's a really good feeling, and as many times as I've done it, it never gets old doing this kind of stuff in really sucky conditions, because afterwards it just continually, every time you do it, it continually reinforces, you know what, it may suck, but I can still power through it and do it. It also gives you a chance to really legitimately shake down your gear and equipment. You'll find out real quick if your gear is working like you want it to, if you've got issues with the way you've got it set up, if you've got issues with what you're using, etc., etc. It's the best way to shake that stuff down and figure out where you need to make little changes and fine-tune things at. You'll also figure out what you want to have and what you don't want to have, what you can do without. The stuff that you figure out you can do without, trust me, you'll do without. You'll start dumping it. There really isn't any better way to get that stuff dialed in and squared away. I can tell you, I don't have any planned changes for any of my gear. I've got it pretty much dialed in where I want it at, a long time ago, and it continues to work and work well for me. If you guys are interested, I'll do another video if there's enough interest and break down what I used in the class and all that, gear and equipment wise. But I'm not going to do it in this one because it's already long enough. So at the end here, I'm going to just let this go. Again, there will be a link to his website in the description box. Please go check it out, guys. The more you support good instructors that teach good stuff like this, the better it is for everybody. It lets them keep teaching because that's their livelihood. It lets them keep passing on the knowledge and lessons that they've learned, and it makes you better prepared, makes you better equipped to help prepare others. It's a chain that can keep right on passing. So check it out. You guys take care. Stay safe. Keep getting ready. Go train, obviously. And I will see you guys in another one.